My daughter told me to come see my new grandchild. I sold my grandmother's ring to buy the plane ticket. I sat in that cold airport for 12 hours waiting for her. She never came. She never called. She thought I was just some old lady she could throw away. But what she didn't know was that I kept track of every single penny she ever took from me. And now it was time to pay up. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for watching my channel. If you believe that families should treat each other with respect and love, then you're in the right place. Please tell me in the comments what country you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you. Now let me tell you what happened to me. My name is Margaret Thompson, and I'm 71 years old. I live in a small town in Jamaica called Port Maria. I worked as a cook for 45 years making food for schools and hospitals. My hands are old now, but they remember how to make the best curry chicken and rice and peas on the whole island. My little house is painted bright yellow like the sun. It has a small front yard where I grow tomatoes and peppers. I go to church every Sunday and I know everyone in my neighborhood. It's a simple life, but it's my life. The only sadness I had was my daughter Emma. She moved to Miami when she was 22 for college. She never came back home. She said Jamaica was too small for her dreams. She got married to a man named Michael and started a whole new life in America. A life that didn't include me very much. For many years, Emma would call me when she needed money. It was always the same story. Mama, I'm in trouble. I need help right now. Just 4 months ago she called me crying. She said her car broke down and she needed $2,000 to fix it. If she didn't fix it, she would lose her job. I felt so sorry for her. I went to the bank and sent her the money. She promised to pay me back in 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks became 2 months, and I never saw that money again. This happened over and over for 10 years. Then one day Emma called me with different news. Her voice was happy and excited. Mama, she said, I have something wonderful to tell you. I'm having a baby. You're going to be a grandmother. I started crying tears of joy. I had waited so long for this moment. I told everyone in my neighborhood. My friend Miss Ruby was so happy for me. She said, Margaret, this is God's blessing on you. I immediately started planning. I bought soft pink and blue yarn to make baby blankets. I found old Jamaican children's books to read to the baby. I even looked at the small piece of land behind my house. It was where my husband James wanted to build a bigger house before he died. I thought maybe I could give this land to my grandchild one day. It would be their inheritance from their grandmother in Jamaica. I was so excited about this baby. It felt like all the years of sending money to Emma finally made sense. I was going to be a grandmother. Then Emma called me again. Mama, you have to come to Miami when the baby is born. I need you here with me. She said Michael would buy my plane ticket as a gift. I was so happy. I had never been to America before, but I was ready to go anywhere to see my grandchild. Few days later, Emma called me back. She sounded worried. Mama, there's a problem with Michael's credit card. The airline won't take it. Can you buy the ticket yourself? We'll give you the money back when you get here. I promise. I should have been suspicious. I should have remembered all the other times she promised to pay me back. But I was thinking about the baby. I went to the bank and took out $800 from my savings. This was money I had been saving to fix my roof. But I told myself it was just temporary. Emma would pay me back when I got to Miami. I bought a one-way ticket because I thought I would stay for a few months to help with the baby. The day I left Jamaica, my whole neighborhood came to see me off. They were all so excited. Bring back pictures of that baby, they said. My suitcase was full of gifts for the baby and Emma. The flight to Miami was the longest flight of my life. I had never been on such a big plane before. I was nervous but excited. I kept looking at my phone, reading Emma's last message over and over. Can't wait to see you, Mama. Have a safe trip. I read those words so many times during the flight. I imagined Emma waiting for me at the airport, her belly big with my grandchild. I imagined her hugging me tight and taking me to see the baby's room. I was so happy I could barely sit still. When I got to Miami Airport, I couldn't believe how big it was. There were so many people from all over the world. I followed the signs to where people wait for passengers. I looked everywhere for Emma. I thought I would see her right away. But she wasn't there. I wasn't worried at first. I knew Miami had bad traffic. I found a chair and sat down to wait. I kept looking at the doors, expecting to see her walk through any minute. 1 hour passed. Then 2 hours. My excitement started to turn into worry. I tried calling Emma's phone, but it went straight to voicemail. I tried calling Michael. Same thing. No answer. I started to panic. Maybe something happened to the baby. Maybe Emma went into labor and they rushed to the hospital. But if that was true, why didn't someone call me? Why didn't anyone tell me what was happening? 3 hours passed. The airport was getting quieter. Most people from my flight were gone. I was starting to feel very alone and scared. I went to the information desk and asked if they could help me find my daughter. The young man behind the desk looked at me with pity. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he said. "We can't page people anymore. That's not how it works." Felt so helpless. I was in a foreign country with no way to contact my daughter. I found a payphone and used my last coins to call Emma again. No answer. Called Michael again. No answer. The silence was deafening. Where was my daughter? Where was the father of my grandchild? A security guard saw me sitting alone and asked if I was okay. I started crying. This stranger showed me more kindness than my own daughter had. He gave me a tissue and told me about a hotel shuttle that ran every hour. But I didn't have money for a hotel. I had spent almost everything on the plane ticket. I found a row of seats in a quiet corner of the airport. I decided to wait there all night. Maybe Emma would come in the morning. Maybe there was just some misunderstanding. That night in the airport was the worst night of my life. I couldn't sleep. The lights were too bright and every sound made me jump. I kept thinking Emma would walk through those doors any minute. I kept checking my phone, hoping for a message or a missed call. But there was nothing. Nothing. As the sun came up, I finally accepted the truth. Emma wasn't coming. She had lied to me. She had tricked me into buying a plane ticket for nothing. She had abandoned me in a foreign country. I had to find a way to get home. But how? I only had about $60 left in my purse. That wasn't enough for a hotel room, let alone a plane ticket back to Jamaica. I was trapped. I had to do something I never thought I would do. I had to sell my jewelry to a pawn shop. I found one in downtown Miami. The man behind the counter looked at me like I was desperate. He was right. I was desperate. I took off my wedding ring that James had given me 40 years ago. This ring was the most precious thing I owned. It was my connection to my husband, to our love, to everything good in my life. The pawn shop man looked at it and said, "I'll give you $150 for it." $150 for 40 years of marriage. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I needed that money to get home. I also sold my gold chain that my mother gave me for my 18th birthday. Another $75. With this money, I could buy a ticket back to Jamaica. I felt like I was selling pieces of my soul, but I had no choice. The flight home was terrible. I was so ashamed. I had told everyone I was going to meet my grandchild. Now I was coming back empty-handed with a story of betrayal and abandonment. When I landed in Jamaica, my friend Miss Ruby was waiting for me. She had come to pick me up, expecting to hear happy stories about the baby. When she saw my face, she knew something was very wrong. "Margaret," she said, "where is your luggage? Where are the pictures of the baby?" I broke down crying in her arms. Coming home was almost as hard as being abandoned in Miami. Everyone in my neighborhood had been so excited about my trip. They had all been waiting to hear about the baby. Now I had to tell them the truth. My daughter had lied to me. There was no emergency. There was no baby being born. She had just wanted to get money out of me one more time. The shame was overwhelming. I felt like the whole town was looking at me, thinking I was a foolish old woman who had been tricked by her own child. Miss Ruby was furious. "That girl has no respect," she said. "After everything you've done for her, this is how she treats you." Her anger made me feel a little better. At least someone understood that what Emma did was wrong. But I still felt broken inside. I had lost my wedding ring, my mother's chain, and my dignity. I had been humiliated by my own daughter. I didn't know how to move forward from this. I didn't know how to trust anyone again. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about everything that had happened. I kept thinking about all the money I had sent Emma over the years. All the promises she had made. All the lies she had told. I got up and went to my closet. I pulled out an old shoebox where I kept all my bank receipts and money transfer slips. I hadn't looked at this box in years. I took it to my kitchen table and opened it. What I saw inside made my blood run cold. I spent the whole night going through every piece of paper. Every receipt told a story of Emma asking for money and me sending it. $500 for rent. $300 for groceries. $1,200 for medical bills. $800 for car repairs. On and on and on. I wrote down every amount in a notebook. When I added it all up, I couldn't believe the total. Over 10 years, I had sent Emma more than $25,000. $25,000. That was more money than I had ever seen in my entire life. I sat there staring at that number. $25,000. That was money I could have used to fix my roof, to travel, to have a comfortable retirement. Instead, I had sent it all to a daughter who didn't even care enough to pick me up from the airport. I had been robbed. Not by a stranger, but by my own flesh and blood. The woman I had given birth to and raised had stolen from me for 10 years. I felt sick to my stomach. But I also felt something else. I felt angry. Really, really angry. The next morning I made a decision. I was done being Emma's victim. I was done being the foolish old woman who sent money whenever she called. I was going to take control of my life. I was going to show Emma that actions have consequences. I called a real estate agent and asked her to come look at the land behind my house. I want to sell this land, I told her. She looked at it and smiled. Mrs. Thompson, this is beautiful land. I can get you a good price for it. Within 2 weeks, I had sold the land for $15,000. This was land I had been saving for Emma and her children. Land that was supposed to be their inheritance. But Emma had shown me that she didn't deserve an inheritance. She had shown me that she only cared about taking from me, not about having a real relationship with me. So I took that inheritance away from her. I put the money in my own bank account. This money was going to be for me, not for her. Next, I went to see the lawyer in town. I told him I wanted to change my will. I want to leave everything to my goddaughter Sarah, I said. Sarah was a nurse who had been checking on me ever since I came back from Miami. She brought me food, helped me with errands, and listened to my story without judging me. She had shown me the love and respect that Emma never did. She deserved to be my heir, not Emma. The lawyer helped me write a new will. I left my house, my savings, and everything else to Sarah. Emma would get nothing. Not one penny. After the way she had treated me, she deserved nothing. I felt good about this decision. I was finally taking care of someone who had taken care of me. I was finally giving my love to someone who appreciated it. The last thing I did was write a letter to Emma. I put copies of 3 things in the envelope. First, I put a copy of the land sale. I wanted her to know that the land she thought would be hers someday was gone forever. Second, I put copies of all the bank receipts showing every penny I had sent her. I wanted her to see exactly how much she had taken from me. Third, I put a short note. It said, "You have taken enough from me. This is your final inheritance. We are even now." I sent the letter by registered mail so she would have to sign for it. I felt so much better after sending that letter. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't sad anymore. I was free. I had taken control of my life. I had shown Emma that I wouldn't be her victim anymore. I had chosen to give my love and my money to people who deserved it. For the first time in years, I felt proud of myself. I had stood up for myself. I had fought back. I had won. About a week later, Emma started calling me. She left angry voicemails. "Mama, what is this letter? You can't sell my land. That was supposed to be mine. Call me back right now." I deleted every message without listening to the whole thing. Then she tried a different approach. She left crying messages. "Mama, I'm sorry. I was sick. I couldn't come to the airport. Please forgive me." I deleted those messages too. I was done listening to her lies. Emma called me every day for 2 weeks. Sometimes angry, sometimes crying, sometimes begging. I never answered. I never called her back. I had said everything I needed to say in that letter. There was nothing left to discuss. She had made her choice when she left me stranded in Miami. Now I was making mine. I was choosing to live my life without her drama and manipulation. I was choosing peace over chaos. With the money from the land sale, I finally fixed my roof. I hired local workers who did a beautiful job. I painted my house a brighter yellow and planted new flowers in my garden. I took a trip to visit my sister in Kingston. I hadn't seen her in 5 years because I never had the money to travel. Now I did. I spent a wonderful week with her, laughing and remembering our childhood. I felt like I was living again instead of just surviving. I also did something special for Sarah, my goddaughter. I opened a savings account for her daughter's education. I put $5,000 in it to start. This little girl would have the opportunities that Emma had wasted. She would have someone who believed in her and supported her dreams. I felt so good about this decision. I was investing in the future of someone who deserved it. I was breaking the cycle of giving to people who didn't appreciate it. 6 months later, I hosted a big party in my backyard. I invited all my neighbors and friends from church. We had curry chicken, rice and peas, and fresh fruit from my garden. Everyone was laughing and having a good time. Miss Ruby stood up and made a toast. "To Margaret," she said, "who taught us all that it's never too late to stand up for yourself." Everyone clapped and cheered. I felt so loved and supported by my real family. My friends and neighbors who had always been there for me. During the party, I made a speech. "I want to thank all of you," I said, "for showing me what real love looks like. For too long, I was giving my love to someone who didn't value it. Now I'm giving it to people who deserve it. All of you." I looked around at all the faces of people who had supported me through the hardest time of my life. These were my real family. These were the people who mattered. Emma had lost her place in my heart, but these people had filled it with something better. I gave Sarah a special gift that day. It was a small jewelry box with a key inside. "This is the key to my house," I told her. "When I'm gone, this will all be yours. You've been more of a daughter to me than my own daughter ever was." Sarah started crying and hugged me tight. "Thank you, Mama Margaret," she whispered. "I promise I'll take good care of everything." I knew she would. I knew I had made the right choice. As I sat on my front porch that evening, watching the sunset over my garden, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Felt peace. Felt content. I felt proud of myself. I had been betrayed by my own daughter, but I had not let that betrayal destroy me. I had fought back. I had taken control. I had chosen to surround myself with people who loved and respected me. I had chosen to invest in people who appreciated my kindness. Looking back, I realized that Emma leaving me in that airport was the best thing that ever happened to me. It opened my eyes to the truth about our relationship. It showed me that I had been enabling her bad behavior for years. It forced me to make changes that I should have made long ago. If she had picked me up that day, I would have continued being her victim. I would have continued sending her money whenever she asked. I would have continued living a lie. Instead, I learned to value myself. I learned that I deserved better than to be used and discarded. I learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about love, respect, and loyalty. Sarah and my neighbors had shown me more family love than Emma ever did. They had earned their place in my heart and in my will. They had proven that they deserved my trust and my generosity. Today I am 72 years old and I am happy. I have a beautiful home, good friends, and enough money to live comfortably. I have given my love to people who deserve it and who return it. I have learned that it's never too late to stand up for yourself. It's never too late to change your life. It's never too late to choose yourself over people who don't appreciate you. Emma taught me this lesson, though she didn't mean to. Sometimes people ask me if I miss Emma, if I regret cutting her out of my life. The answer is no. I don't miss the stress, the lies, the constant requests for money. I don't miss walking on eggshells around my own daughter. I don't miss being taken advantage of. What I have now is so much better. I have genuine relationships with people who care about me. I have peace in my home. I have joy in my heart. The woman who got on that plane to Miami was weak and naive. She was so desperate for her daughter's love that she let herself be used over and over again. The woman who came back from Miami was different. She was stronger, wiser, and more determined. She had learned that love without respect is worthless. She had learned that being alone is better than being with people who don't value you. She had learned that sometimes you have to save yourself. If you're watching this and you recognize yourself in my story, please listen to me. You deserve better. You deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. You deserve to have your generosity appreciated, not taken for granted. Don't let people use you just because they're family. Don't let people treat you badly just because you love them. Love yourself enough to walk away from people who don't value you. Love yourself enough to demand better. It's been 3 years since I sent that letter to Emma. She stopped calling after about a month. I heard from a cousin that she had another baby and moved to a different state. I felt nothing when I heard this news. No sadness, no anger, no curiosity. She had become a stranger to me. The daughter I had loved and sacrificed for was gone. Maybe she never really existed. Maybe I had been loving an idea of her rather than the real her. My life now is simple but fulfilling. I wake up in my beautiful yellow house with no stress about phone calls asking for money. I spend my days in my garden, at church, and with my friends. I help Sarah with her children and watch them grow up healthy and happy. I am their grandmother in every way that matters. They call me Grandma Margaret and run to hug me when they see me. This is the grandmotherly love I had always dreamed of. Sarah's oldest daughter is now 8 years old. She loves to help me in the garden and listen to my stories. She has never heard of Emma because Emma is not part of our family story. Our family story is about love, respect, and loyalty. It's about people who show up for each other. It's about people who value each other. It's about people who would never abandon each other in a foreign airport. This is the family I chose, and they chose me back. I want to end my story with some advice for anyone who might be going through something similar. First, don't ignore the red flags. If someone keeps asking you for money but never pays you back, they're using you. If someone makes promises they don't keep, they don't respect you. If someone treats you badly and then apologizes only to do it again, they're manipulating you. Trust your instincts. You know when something isn't right. Second, don't be afraid to set boundaries. It's okay to say no to people, even family members. It's okay to stop giving money to people who don't appreciate it. It's okay to walk away from relationships that hurt you. You don't owe anyone unlimited chances to mistreat you. You don't have to accept bad behavior just because someone is related to you. You have the right to protect yourself. Third, invest in people who invest in you. Give your love, time, and resources to people who value them. Surround yourself with people who show up for you, who respect you, who treat you with kindness. These are the people who deserve your generosity. These are the people who should be in your will. These are the people who should be considered your real family. Finally, remember that it's never too late to change your life. I was 71 years old when I finally stood up to Emma. I thought I was too old to start over, but I was wrong. Age is just a number. What matters is your willingness to fight for yourself. What matters is your determination to live the life you deserve. What matters is your courage to choose yourself over people who don't choose you. I am proud of the woman I became after that terrible experience in Miami. I am proud that I fought back instead of giving up. I am proud that I chose to surround myself with people who love me. I am proud that I learned to value myself. I am proud that I broke the cycle of being used and manipulated. I am proud that I chose dignity over desperation. I am proud that I chose peace over chaos. My life is good now. Really good. I have everything I need and more. I have a beautiful home, wonderful friends, and a family that I chose. I have financial security and emotional peace. I have learned that happiness doesn't come from trying to fix broken relationships. Comes from building healthy ones. Comes from knowing your worth and demanding that others recognize it too. Comes from choosing yourself when no one else will. To anyone who has ever been abandoned, used, or taken advantage of by family, I want you to know that you are not alone. Your pain is real, but so is your power to change your situation. You don't have to accept mistreatment just because it comes from family. You don't have to keep giving to people who only take. You don't have to sacrifice your happiness for people who don't appreciate it. You can choose better. You can choose yourself. The little girl who is now in my will doesn't know it yet, but she will inherit more than just a house and some money. She will inherit the lesson that love should be mutual, that respect should be earned, and that family is about actions, not just blood. She will inherit the knowledge that it's okay to walk away from people who hurt you. She will inherit the strength to stand up for herself. These are the most valuable things I can give her. As I sit here in my beautiful garden, surrounded by the flowers I planted and the friends I chose, I feel nothing but gratitude. Gratitude for the hard lesson that taught me my worth. Gratitude for the strength I found within myself. Gratitude for the real family I discovered. Gratitude for the peace I finally found. I am no longer the broken woman who was abandoned in an airport. I am a woman who knows her value and demands that others recognize it too. If Emma ever reads this or hears this story, I want her to know that I don't hate her. I don't wish her harm. I simply don't wish her anything at all. She is a stranger to me now. She lost the right to be my daughter when she chose to treat me like a stranger. I have moved on to a better life with better people. I have chosen love over manipulation, respect over desperation, and peace over chaos. I am finally free and I am finally happy. That is my victory. That is my triumph. That is my story.